I'll fucking suck your dick.
Boys' final season was okay, but before I get into that, I just want to mention that the first 4 seasons of the show were absolutely peak, and I'm just so disappointed. Like, how can a show this fucking good fall off so tremendously? Well, for me, it was the pacing. They only had 8 episodes to cap off the series, and they fumbled it hard. But I guess it's not all bad. There were a few things I did enjoy about the storytelling, so I'm gonna start with the positives first. For one, Butcher's arc was handled perfectly in this season, and you can really see how he grows as a person and begins to care more about his crew, even if it's just a little tiny bit. But at the end of the day, he is still a very terrible person who believes all soups should die, which I'm not a big fan of genocide. So at the end, when he hesitates to pull the trigger to release the virus, you kind of can't help but feel sympathy for the guy. He knows he's an awful person, but he's also so hell-bent on his ideas, he doesn't feel like he can control himself in certain situations. And I love that with his dying words, he confesses that he wasn't going to stop his rampages on the soups, finally taking responsibility for his behavior and not trying to pretend like he's some saint or anything. And another thing is obviously Homelander, as Anthony Starr fucking annihilated his role throughout the whole fucking series, and it's really no different here.
I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm better. I am better!
His final scene was definitely the most powerful from like a writing perspective, because you can see when his powers are finally stripped away from him, he shows this sense of fear that we have never seen prior, and it allows the audience to understand that he's really just a pussy without his powers, and this is just hilarious. He deserved everything he had coming to him, and I couldn't be happier with how they handled his inevitable end. Also, after Huey shoots Butcher at the end of the episode, he immediately regrets it and attempts to call an ambulance, which showcases how he never really lost himself throughout this mess he found himself in. He's still the caring, kind-hearted Huey he was at the beginning, just stronger now. And it was really neat to see, because you could see through Butcher what would have happened if he did start to lose his mind. Honestly, with all my positives about this season, it mostly just stems from the characters which were already established and how they developed into different types of people throughout the series, so there's not really much complaints there. Starlight is still kind and caring, but she's also much more stern, and she can be kind of rude now, which she was like a butterfly at the beginning of the series. Realized that he wasn't good for his family, he didn't want to bring his family into all the shit he's doing, and decided to break away from them. But those are kind of all the examples I have, because Kimiko and Frenchie didn't really have much development I could see. They're kind of stagnant to me, except for that Kimiko can talk now, which is so stupid. But there is a lot of glaring issues that I cannot ignore. Before I start, I would say the first 3-4 episodes of the show are pretty good. I was engaged because it was essentially just the same as the previous seasons, had good humor.
Blow A train.
I want to gargle my ballsack.
You need to get the fuck away from me right now.
You bet. Yeah.
No cap on God, bro.
But once we got into the later episodes, kind of just fell off for me. And to me, it was kind of a whole lot of story with nothing actually happening. There was just this filler episode, which it is interesting to show how Homelander affected the people around him and all the people that supported him and the people who hate him. I mean, look at Firecracker. She basically abandoned all her ideals and how she grew up and her beliefs just to suck up to Homelander. And this is what she got in the end. At the end of the day, it was like, why would you do that in the final season and not a previous season? Because we gotta wrap this up. Like, it just made no sense. Oh wow, Soldier Boy is out of his chamber again. Cool. Oh my gosh, the Pete Cube Black Noir, which is crazy because this is the second iteration of him already. So it was just, why? But really tickled me in the wrong way, starting in episode 6. So before episode 6, Soldier Boy spends the entire season up to this point trying to prevent Homelander from acquiring the V1 because of how much he hates him and how much he thinks he's annoying. But all of a sudden, I'm supposed to believe that he's gonna give it to him because that's what Clara would have wanted. Oh, great tease for the upcoming prequel, just immaculate. Also, once he actually injects the V1, the episode just ends with Butcher telling everyone to run, and in the next episode, it just picks back up on another day. Like, How did they get away? We see that Homelander has supersonic hearing when he kills Frenchie, so why didn't he hear any of them in the bushes? There's just so many inconsistencies, and it was making me so upset. Like, I'm actually ranting right now. But adding on to the inconsistencies, why is it that in this scene, they knock out Homelander, right? Seemingly pretty easy by just spraying him with gas. So why can't the boys just do that? Like, it doesn't make sense. I don't understand these writing choices. Oh, and don't even get me started on Sister Sage. She's supposed to be the smartest person in the world, but somehow she failed to realize that Bombsight would betray her. Like, what does that even mean? Oh, love is so hard to understand. Oh my god, it's so stupid. Like, bro, you're the smartest person in the world. You should be able to figure this out. And not only that, there's also this weird subplot where she wants the world to end so she can go in her bunker and read. You can just do that now. You don't need the world to burn in order to do that. Just go in your bunker. And then they just write her off as, oh, I'm going to Disney World now. Bro, what kind of arc is that? Then there's the Deep, who I actually thought was handled pretty well. He's still a buffoon, like driving in a Cybertruck now, which had me crying. Interestingly enough, he has an arc which is kind of not an arc at the same time, which is kind of funny. It's kind of him just refusing to have a character arc and just consistently being an asshole the entire series, and it's just really funny because it makes so much sense for a character like that who's just a weird alpha male guys like Andrew Tate people. And it's just so funny that he would refuse to have that because those people are truly just massive morons. So I thought it was cool for the writers to kind of dig into that kind of culture because those people suck. And once he gets fired, there's a little moment where we can see that he's debating if he wants to still idolize him in the way that he does. And he ends up getting banned from the ocean. Samuel Jackson Shark just says,
Los, come to Woodburn, Oregon, and you will become a campfire story.
And so he's depressed, he's got fired, he's got nothing, right? He feels like he's useless. And then there's a scene where somebody's drowning, and you can see this could be his redemption of, oh, I'm gonna go in the ocean, I'm gonna risk my life to save this person. But he doesn't do that, and it's hilarious because he's such a pussy. And also, in his death scene, he can't even swim after being like this, the warlord of the sea. It's so funny. This clip has me dying, bro. Like, it's so funny.
You're not a fucking baby. For once, take some responsibility for yourself.
Anyways, since I want to keep this video short since my previous ones were too fucking long, I'll just touch on one last thing that I didn't like about the show in the last episode. The final fight between Homelander and Butcher was kind of underwhelming to me because I thought at least there was going to be a crazy over-the-top showdown, but it was basically just a 3-minute fight in the Oval Office where Homelander didn't really seem like he was invincible. Like, bro really got the V1 only to slam out this dude and then get cooked by Butcher. I mean, I get it. It's supposed to show how much stronger Butcher is than Homelander without his powers. I understand that. I guess I went into it with different expectations. But what I really didn't like was the fact that Ryan and Butcher can just hold him down so easily while Kimiko blasts her superpower moving solar ray thing. Like, to me, that was just too easy. I mean, still a great death scene and great acting, but that's it. We're only halfway through the conclusion and Homelander's already dead. But it really frustrates me because I truly feel like this show could have been perfect because there's so many inconsistencies and so many bad writing choices in this season. And also, 2 episodes of just shoving the new prequel down our throats instead of just telling the story. So that was annoying. But it's just really, really disappointing. It really could have been perfect, like up there with Breaking Bad and The Sopranos. And I'm not saying that I didn't like the 5th season. It was good, but it just wasn't the same, and it's very upsetting.